Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're joining us in this live lecture coming to you from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is for Market Day in the Igbo lunar calendar. And in the Roman Catholic calendar, today's date is 7/22, 2025. And remember, at Nkolo Mahadum, we always advise you to use your naturally given common sense, which we call akonuche in Igbo language. And Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University was set up to be providing you the correct information to save you from all the colonial informations you've been getting, to emancipate you from mental slavery so that you can reason without interference. And that is why we package and present our lectures from Igbo man, from Biafran and African perspectives. And we encourage you to like, comment, and share our lectures to all your friends and well-wishers. And in addition, join us, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and other social media platforms. And right now, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, and we are live on TikTok. So you don't have no reason to join us to benefit from this correct information we are giving you. And the title of today's lecture is Igbo race should stop making noise, showing off, face reality, and do the right thing. Igbo as a race, the Igbo race should stop the noise they are making around the world, the showing offs they are doing, and face the reality and do the right thing before it is too late. Na si na ewele evio wee chiwe ewu ojii na ọ dị better, because suchijie ewu ojii ga-abịa arụ ngụ n'ọchịchị. Ndị Igbo tete n'ụla ka ewele evio chiwe ewu ojii. Very, very, very important. What are the noise makings that the Igbo race are making? We have heard and seen many Igbo billionaires having extravagant burials, weddings, and birthday parties. Also, we have witnessed a lot of Igbo organizations across the world, be it in United Kingdom, be it in Germany, be it in the US, be it in Australia, be it in Abuja, be it in Lagos. From across the world, Igbo organizations, Igbo communities, having all kinds of Igbo Day and Igbo parties. In addition, several Igbo associations also have different celebrations, end of year parties, fundraising parties across the world. In addition, several Igbo clubs, including men and women clubs, also throw different parties, different events across the world. And also the middle class Igbos, Igbo professionals, throwing different types of private parties, be it marriage ceremonies, birthday parties, graduation parties across the whole world. We have also seen so many Igbo billionaires and millionaires showing off their big mansions, their businesses across the world. Mainly the one they show off during December time in the Biafran area. People also show off Igbo cities across Nigeria to the world, and they also show off different cars and vehicles owned by Igbo people. All this should stop, and hence this lecture. These are some of the noise makings, some of the showing offs that many people from the Igbo race are showing to the world, demonstrating to the world, raising their shoulder, showing that they are happy against the realities. And now, the realities that the Igbo race should face is that we have been enslaved from 1493, from the Papa Bull that led to slavery up to this day. We have been enslaved from 1493. And you know that Brazil was the last country to stop slavery on May 13th, 1888. If you minus 1888 from 1493, you can see how long that slave trade went on. And you know that majority of our people were enslaved. Most of the most expensive, the highest cost slave was an Igbo man because of our ability, our hard work, our ability to work hard. And then the Bight of Biafra during the slave trade was called Slave Coast, because that is where they get all the strong people from Biafra land. So we are enslaved people. Also, we are a colonized race. We were colonized. In our last lecture, we mentioned several countries that were never colonized, about 14 of them when we add Ethiopia to that list. But in our own case, we are colonized. You know what colonization means? That Britain left their country to our country by fire, by force, and start to force our people to follow their culture, follow their way of life, do things the way they want us to do it, not the way our people have been doing things. That is colonization. Our ancestors suffered a lot, immensely, from that colonization. And that is, it was in that colonization that they introduced all their colonial structures and institutions on our land. All these local governments you have, all the states and all the country we have, they are artificial boundaries created by the colonial master Britain, by the colonialists. And so we are colonized. And then they impose all their structures and institutions on us, which included religion, education, banking, finance, communication, and so on and so forth. Imagine what it means for somebody, Britain, to leave their land, to come to our land, to force our people to do the things that they want by force, by fire, by force. We are colonized. So we are not only enslaved, we were also colonized. And that is one thing we want you to take away from this lecture. To add salt to injury, we were also defeated during the 1967 to 70 Civil War. Where Britain, a Christian nation, supports and continues to support the Arabs, the Arab Fulanis, to be in charge of Nigeria today. And so this is our situation. And since after that Biafran Nigeria Civil War, we have been marginalized. A lot of checkpoints everywhere in our land. And these checkpoints are centers of exploitation, extortion, dehumanization, harassment, sometimes imprisonment, sometimes killing of our people. The Nigerian map was skewed against the Igbo people, against the Biafran people. The Biafran map was skewed, where they drew the Biafran Nigerian map up to including Igbo people in north central Nigeria. So the map was skewed against the Biafran people and the Igbo people. And also we are given 5 states, while other regions we are given 6 or more states. So the map of Nigeria is skewed against us. Lack of equal opportunities. We don't have equal opportunities in our land. That is why you have all this unemployment, all the crimes going on as a result of unemployment and lack of equal opportunities. And also, we are not in control of our resources. It is our resources that we will have used, our resources which amounted to trillions of dollars. What the resources we have in our land, we are not in control of it. Foreigners are in control of it. Because if we are in control, it is these natural resources which amounted to trillions of dollars that we will use to develop the whole Biafra land, the whole Igbo land, and also use it to help the poor, and also use it to uplift the Igbo race, support the Igbo people, the Biafran people, wherever we may be across the world. So, but we are not in control of our natural resources. We don't have our own Igbo nation. We don't have it. So if you don't have your own Igbo nation, you are doing everything you are doing in a vacuum. You don't have a foundation. And so, because we don't have a country, we do not belong to United Nations. There's no way you can belong to United Nations if you don't have a country. And if we don't belong to United Nations, we do not have the opportunity to belong to United Nations Security Council. Talk less of becoming permanent members or permanent membership or veto power. We don't have all those things. So if we don't have it, how do we then compare with all these nations that have those things? All these nations that are in the United Nations, that are in the Security Council, that have veto power, that have permanent membership. Can you then say that you as a Biafran, you as an Igbo man, that you are equal to that, to somebody from that country? If not, why not? Are we not born the same way? Are we not the same people? And so these are the realities, some of the realities that we want to present to you in this lecture, that makes it unnecessary for anybody from Igbo race to be making noise, to be showing off in any shape or form, because we don't have what we're supposed to have, which is our own nation and controlling our own resources and stay in our land. And now, today is 2025. This year is 2025. If you minus 2025 minus 1493, when the Europeans started to come to Africa to conquer us, is 532 years. We have been suffering for 532 years. And many of us have migrated, run away from our land to foreign land. And now that we are in foreign land, instead of we to do the right thing, we are shying away from doing the right thing. And hence, that is why we are making this lecture, present this lecture to you, to wake up and start to do the right thing. The right thing for you to do is to support the Biafran Restoration Project championed by Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. The only way, even if you don't want to come out, like they have been telling us, some of you that feel you don't want to come out, support it. I am quite sure that even the clubs we have in the United States, the Igbo clubs, different clubs we have in the United States, can support the Biafran Restoration Project with $10,000 each from each branch. And if we do that, if we can support the Biafra Restoration Project, the clubs, the social clubs we have in the United States alone can restore our nation, the Biafra nation. If they can, the men's club, I'm talking about the men's club, if the men's social club we have in the United States can support the Biafra Restoration Project with $10,000 every year, the Biafra Restoration Project will be achieved in a very, very short time. Talk less if the women also, the women also have a lot of clubs in the United States. If the women also support the men, if the women club also supports the Biafra Restoration Project, the Biafra Restoration Project will be achieved within the shortest possible time. That is what we have to be doing so that we can control our natural resources. Before we can control our natural resources, we must have our own nation first. And our natural resources, like I said, amounts to trillions of dollars. Again, it will give us identity. It will give us a voice in the world, because now we have a country by which you can go to the UN and be speaking. And they will say, this person speaking is representing the Igbo nation, the Biafran nation. We will make our point, just like others are making their points in the United Nations. And also we will aspire to belong to the United Nations Security Council, as well as have permanent membership and veto power, because those countries that have it, they don't have two heads. All these countries that have permanent membership, have veto power, are in the UN. Are they better than you, an Igbo man? Are they better than you, a Biafran? So why shouldn't we have our own? It will stop migration. All this migration that we are doing now, people migrating from, why are we migrating to other people's land? How many of them are migrating to our land? And we have enough abundant resources in our land to sustain us to live in our land. It will show that we are equal with other nations. It will give us equality. Unlike now, we are not equal with countries that are not even colonized. There are some countries that are not even colonized, that are not even enslaved. But we were. There are countries that organized, that brought these United Nations that they're talking about today. There are countries that's calling the shots in the United Nations. Why shouldn't we be part of it? Why shouldn't we be thinking that way? Why should we be showing that we are now shying away from our responsibilities? This is why this lecture is very, very, very important. To encourage our people, the Igbo race, to stop making noise, stop showing off, face the reality, and do the right thing. It is very, very important, because we have seen many Igbo billionaires perform extravagant burials, weddings, birthdays, and other parties. Why are we being so extravagant? Why we can put that money into the restoration of our nation? We also have seen many Igbo organizations, Igbo communities, like in UK and Germany and other places, performing Igbo Day extravagantly. We have also seen many Igbo parochial, Igbo town associations performing so many extravagant parties and fundraisings. We have also seen so many Igbo clubs, Igbo social clubs, performing so many high-level, high-wired functions, events, spending thousands of dollars. And the middle-class Igbos performing different parties, call it birthday party, call it marriage remembrance party, call it children graduation party. We throw in parties everywhere as if we are, I mean, as if we don't have problem. Yes, we do. We have also seen so many showing off cars and vehicles. Why are you showing off all those things? Why we don't have a nation? We don't have identity. And the reality is that we are one of the people that we are enslaved in this world. And the slavery started from 1493 in the 15th century. And Brazil was the last country to end slavery in 1888, on May 13, 1888. And the Bight of Biafra during that time was called Slave Coast, which means most of the slaves were gotten from our people, from Biafran people, from the Igbo people. And the Igbo slave was the most expensive slave at that time because of our hard work. These are the realities. And we are also colonized. And we want you to go back to our previous lecture where we told you about many countries that we are not colonized, including Ethiopia. But we were. The British people came into our land and started now to tell us how to live our life and start to impose their culture and their system onto us. And our people swallowed it, hook and sinker, up to today, and imposing the same foreign culture on our people up to today. And we are saying we have suffered so much. If you calculate from 1493, from the Papal Bull, from the Catholic Church days of discovery to 2025, it's about 532 years that we have been suffering under colonial bondage. And we have been marginalized in our land, defeated in the 1967 to 70 Nigerian Biafran War. There's a lot of checkpoints everywhere in our land. There's quota system holding us back. The Nigerian map is skewed against us. That people from Igbo land were added to Benue State, Kogi, and Taraba to form North Central Nigeria. And then our people were breaking up. Some added into Edo, some added into other places. And then in the eastern region of Nigeria, Biafra land, they make sure they divide us into two. The one they call South-South. So we don't have equal opportunity in our land. We cannot be president of Nigeria. We cannot have so many things that others have. We don't control our resources which amounted to more than $1 trillion. And we don't have our own nation. So why are we throwing money about? We don't belong to the United Nations. We don't belong to the United Nations Security Council or have permanent membership or veto power. So what is the pride? So why are we throwing up all these parties? Why are you showing up why are you making all this noise? Why we are nothing? We are simply nothing compared to other races, compared to other cultures who are calling the shots. Is an American better than you? Is somebody from United Kingdom better than you? How about somebody from France, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Australia, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Israel? Are they better than you? Are we not the same people? So why can't we do the right thing? Everybody is protecting their own. So the right thing for you to do is to support the Biafran Restoration Project led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Even if you don't want to come out, support the project. Because that is the project that will give us our own nation. And all the social clubs, all the men's social clubs in the United States supporting the Biafra Restoration with $10,000 every every year can restore the Biafran nation as quickly as possible. Talk less if the Women Club also joins in that contribution. We haven't touched the parochial, the town associations. If everybody come together, the town associations, all the social clubs, all the middle classes we have in the United States, it's enough to restore the nation of Biafra. So we should wake up, because that is what we need to do, so that we can be able to control our natural resources, which amounted to trillions of dollars. And with that, we will have identity. We will have a voice in the world. We will stop migration. People will start coming to our land, because our land will be filled with milk and honey. And with our hard work, with our human capital ingenuity, we shall be better than America. We shall be better than all these countries that we are seeing as being good. After all those things they have, we can also have them in our land. It will show that we are equal with other nations. Is people from Japan better than somebody than a Biafran or an Igbo man? How about somebody from China? Are they better than us? Don't they have the same head? Are we not the same human beings? Why should we be living the life we are living right now? It's like we are being misdirected, or we don't have good leadership. We need a strong leadership amongst the Igbo people, the Igbo race, so that the right decisions can be made and the right action can be taken for the restoration of our country. And so when we restore our country, we can now belong to United Nations, belong to United Nations Security Council, seek for permanent membership and veto power, and belong to World of Nations, where one of us will be speaking on our behalf at the United Nations. Our voice will be heard. That is what we need to do, than all this noise making, showing off that doesn't make any sense. And before we continue, I have to beg you to please join us, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And right now, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. So join us, subscribe, like, comment, and share, because we are here to give you the correct information. We are here to tell you the right thing, to give you the right education, because all the education that the colonial masters have been giving us is a wrong one. Their education they are giving us is a wrong. That's why you have our people thinking the way that we are thinking. We are not in control of our educational system. And hence, the setting up of Nkolomo Hadum Wisdom University, so that we can educate you properly from the Igbo man, the Biafran, and African perspectives. And we have to bring this lecture to an end today. Please like, comment, share it to get to everybody. And most importantly, subscribe, join us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so that if we present another lecture, you'll be able to get it. And today, we shall be presenting 2 lectures. The next lecture is coming in the next 1 hour. And that lecture is the analysis of the interview granted to Amadou Bello. Join us. And before we end, we have to call on all reasonable Africans to stand up and dismantle all the colonial boundaries in Africa. But these colonial boundaries are the sources of poverty, wars, migration, disease, poverty, and killings in our land. If we Africans cannot go to Europe and say, you are one country, why should we allow them to continue to keep these artificial boundaries they have in our land. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining me today, and have a very, very, very good one. Thank you, and have a good one. Bye-bye.